Following a landslide victory in last month's elections, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was sworn in as the Philippines' president earlier today. And in his inaugural speech, he doubled down on the legacy of his dictator father, which critics describe as a dark period of human rights abuses and corruption.
I once knew a man who saw what little had been achieved since independence, in a land of people with the greatest potential for achievement, and yet they were poor. But he got it done, sometimes with the needed support, sometimes without. So will it be with his son. You will get no excuses from me.
In a 30-minute speech that echoed his campaign slogans of unity, Mr. Marcos Jr. pledged education reforms, waste management and energy supply, and to give full support for millions of overseas Filipino workers. Here's our Philippines correspondent with more.
Today, we witnessed the conclusion of the epic return to power of the Marcoses, 36 years after they fled the Philippines in shame. As I was watching Mr. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Being sworn in as president, I couldn't help but draw a mirror image from 36 years ago, on February 25, 1986. On that day, Mr. Marcos Jr., only 28 and wearing a fatigue, was standing on the balcony of Malacanang Palace, the seat of government, with his father, mother, and two sisters, and they were defiant as a coup and as a popular uprising was swirling around them. Today, I saw Mr. Marcos triumphant, being sworn in as the Philippines' 17th president. Now, whether he intends to rule like his father or to pick up where his father left, I don't think that will be the case. I think he will be more a continuity of his predecessor, Mr. Rodrigo Duterte. Now, what does that mean? No? If carrying on Mr. Duterte's legacy also means inheriting the same baggage he will be leaving behind. Mr. Duterte is leaving over $300 billion worth of debt. Most of that money was borrowed to finance his pandemic response. While we are all hoping that Mr. Marcos Jr. will not be as brutal, will not have the same kleptocratic tendencies as his father, we do hope that he will display some of the political genius that his father admittedly had when he was president. Because I think he will need that to pull off a miracle and get the Philippines out of the predicament that it is in right now.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos.